In the desolate vastness of the Mexican desert under a scorching sun and amidst a turbulent revolution, a train vanished without a trace, without explanation. Could an entire locomotive and its passengers simply disappear, swallowed by the unforgiving landscape? Or was something far darker at play, lurking beneath the dust clouds and whispers of war? Welcome to Vanished Stories, where mysteries from history emerge from the shadows, inviting us to peer into the unknown. Tonight we unravel a chilling enigma frozen in time. The disappearance of the Mexican train in 1911. The year was 1911. Mexico was a nation burning with unrest. The revolution was raging in pockets across the country, pitting forces of change against the old order. Railroads, the bloodstream of commerce and communication, crisscrossed the territory, their iron arteries sustaining distant towns and cities. Hoping to bridge towns and townsfolk, the railways symbolized connection. But in that volatile year, one train's journey never reached its intended destination. The Mexican Northern Railway, a vital link between northern towns, set off one fateful morning carrying passengers, workers, and goods. But somewhere between Chihuahua and the rugged mountains near Ojinaga, it vanished. No wreckage, no survivors, no whispered word of what became of it. Was it a mechanical failure consumed by the desert sands, or were rebels intercepting, stealing, or destroying in the chaos of revolution? Perhaps the train became trapped in time, lost to a forgotten world. The truth, still buried beneath layers of dust and history, beckons us into a labyrinth of secrets. Tonight we journey back over a century to a time when the city streets bore the cries of revolutionaries, and in the dry wind the vanished train was said to drift like an apparition gone but never forgotten. This is the story of the disappearance of the Mexican train, 1911. The dawn of 1911 in northern Mexico was punctuated by the clash of modernity and upheaval. Small towns like Chihuahua bustled modestly. Merchants peddled goods, children played along dusty streets, and the monotony of daily life offered little hint of the storm ahead. The railway station was the town's lifeline, where steel rails carried hope, news, and sometimes tragedy. Our central figure emerges in this haunting tableau, Enrique Vasquez, a modest train conductor in his early 30s. Born and raised in Chihuahua, Enrique was admired for his steady hand and calm demeanor traits, crafted from years spent navigating the rails of the northern territories. His eyes reflected the resilience of a nation in flux, hope tempered by weariness. Enrique's daily routine was punctual and precise. Dawn found him at the station, ensuring the locomotive was primed for its run north towards Ojinaga. The train itself was an iron behemoth, the Mexican Northern No.7, carrying a mix of miners, farmers, merchants, and their humble possessions. The train's crew was tight-knit, viewing each other as family, forged by miles of track and the dangers of their route. Among them was Maria Lopez, a young ticket clerk, whose laughter could soften the harshest desert winds, and Antonio Ramirez, an engineer who spoke of his dreams far beyond the barren horizons. Beyond the train, the land was raw and punishing. Wide stretches of sand, jagged rocks, and sparse vegetation stretched endlessly. Stories told by locals whispered of spirits haunting the rail lines and of bandits who preyed on the vulnerable. Yet for Enrique and his companions, these tales were distractions. Life's routine was what mattered. On a bright morning in October 1911, as the sun started its slow climb, Enrique prepared the Mexican Northern No.7 for departure. Passengers shuffled aboard, some weary from long journeys, others eager for new opportunities. Among them was a man known only as Señor Delgado, a shrouded figure rumored to carry important documents relating to the revolution. The locomotive whistle pierced the crisp air. The train began its trek north from Chihuahua, winding through canyons and deserts. The ride was uneventful at first, marked by the rhythmic clatter of wheels on steel and conversations drifting alongside the rails. As the train passed the small station of Valle de Allende, Enrique noticed something unusual. A group of armed men resting near the tracks, their faces obscured by hats and scarves. A chill ran down his spine, but the train pressed onward. Minutes later, at a sharp curve near the notorious Barranca del Muerto, the unexpected happened. The train lurched violently. Enrique felt a jolt beneath his feet, a sudden stoppage. The passengers murmured anxiously. Maria went to investigate, but the cars were locked. Rail lines ahead seemed undisturbed. No derailed cars, no visible damage. Radio communications were non-existent in 1911, and all attempts to reach nearby stations failed. Then, as quickly as it had halted, the train was gone, vanished from the tracks as if the earth had swallowed it whole. The news of the missing Mexican Northern No.7 rippled through Chihuahua and the surrounding towns like wildfire. Families waited anxiously, imagining the worst. Enrique's loved ones organized searches, combing the desert with little more than hope. The Mexican authorities dispatched investigators, but the harsh terrain slowed their efforts. Searches widened, cliffs, canyons, and abandoned outposts came under scrutiny. Yet no evidence emerged, no crash site, no abandoned passengers, no burned-out wreckage. Local ranchers told of strange sightings, ghostly lights tracking in the night, eerie whistles without source, phantom trains glimpsed in the distance. These suggestions were dismissed by officials, but grew in oral folklore. Newspapers debated rival theories, fueling public fascination. A visiting journalist, Ana Morales, chronicled the ordeal, interviewing survivors of previous train runs, railway workers, and military officials. Her diaries reveal a picture of bureaucratic confusion and underlying fear. The revolution had splintered loyalties, complicating any coordinated search. Official inquiries stalled with no breakthrough. Conspiracy theories flourished. Was the train hijacked by rebel forces? Was there an ambush hidden beneath claims of accident? Or was it a supernatural vanishing, a portent of darker forces at play? Delving deeper, suspicion fell on multiple parties. Rebel factions in the region had motive to disrupt government supply lines, and eyewitness accounts of armed men near the tracks. On the morning of the disappearance, intensified speculation that the train was a target. Yet a faction of the military claimed the train had been intercepted by bandits, rogues exploiting revolution chaos for robbery. These bandits had been reported near Barranca del Muerto before targeting travelers and supplies. Intrigue thickened with the appearance of Señor Delgado's identity, a diplomat carrying secret correspondence relating to an arms deal. Was the train's disappearance an elaborate kidnapping to control these documents? Delgado was never seen again. The crew's alibis were scrutinized. Antonio Ramirez, the engineer, was rumored to have debts owed to gambling halls, casting doubt on his motives. Maria Lopez's sudden departure from Chihuahua after the event raised questions. Did someone betray the train from within? Among the townspeople, older voices whispered of a curse tied to these rails, stories of a ghost train that would claim lives of the careless. Some said the train never left, trapped eternally between worlds. Each theory seemed plausible, yet none could be definitively proven. The mystery deepened, the truth retreating into the desert's unforgiving embrace. Decades slipped by, and the vanished train became legend. That was until 1978, when a group of archaeological researchers stumbled upon rusted railcar fragments deep within a collapsed mine shaft near the Barranca del Muerto. The discovery reignited hope. Among the wreckage lay charred personal belongings, an engineer's cap inscribed with Ramirez, faded tickets with passenger names and fragments of what resembled Delgado's diplomatic papers, burned nearly to ash. Forensic analysis suggested the train had been deliberately sabotaged and forced off the tracks into the mine. The implication of planned derailment rather than accident. Further investigation uncovered long-hidden military documents revealing orders from a local revolutionary commander to seize the train to intercept Delgado's secrets. The plan went awry, the train careening into the mine, trapping many aboard. But the final horrifying truth was withheld. The fate of the passengers was never recorded. Lost to a secret war effort or quietly erased by collusion, the missing lives became a silent sacrifice to a violent era. In a last startling twist, interviews with descendants of the crew uncovered cryptic family letters speaking of a survivor's escape, forced into hiding and forgotten by history. Who was this survivor? What became of them? The answers remain teetering at the edge of memory, a dark riddle forever etched into the rails of time. The disappearance of the Mexican train in 1911 is more than a forgotten footnote in history. It is a haunting testament to a nation shattered by conflict, where truth intertwines with myth and the line between fact and legend blurs beneath harsh desert suns. Enrique Vasquez, Maria Lopez, Antonio Ramirez, Señor Delgado, names etched in uncertainty, faces lost to the void. Their last journey became a labyrinth of unanswered questions and specters of what if. This story echoes a universal human fear, the terror of vanishing, of existence wiped away without explanation, justice, or closure. It reminds us how fragile life is amidst the chaos of history, how the scales of conflict weigh heavily on innocent souls, and yet the haunting question lingers. Does the Mexican train's ghost still drift through the barrancas, whispering secrets of the fallen? Do vanished souls like these find peace, or do their stories continue to echo forever in the silence of the desert? This is the enigma we all must face. When do lost stories truly end, and when do they begin anew in the restless echoes of memory?